Moshpit Passion, for the passion of music.
For our viewers out there, we actually had already 2 interviews before. Let me say and show this one. This is from 2020. I hope you can see this. It's blurred.
Yeah.
It was a special magazine issue. Usually we, back in the day, printed a newspaper magazine. This one, because of COVID and everything was shut down and our issue was in the printing factory, I was like, all right, guys, we do everything DIY 80s styles. We go into a copy shop and we do, this kind of magazine DIY, which fits perfectly because Mushroomhead is also a DIY band, especially in the beginning. It fits very well. That was our first interview. And the second one was 2 years ago in Amsterdam, backstage.
Oh, yeah. I remember. That was awesome. And thank you again for taking the time to do this today. I like the old school, the old school zine approach. It's like the old school skateboards magazines, back in the day, man. Absolutely. And, we're right from that era. That's what was happening when Mushroomhead started, right there, the zines.
Yeah, and what I really like, and that is also my first question, more or less, this whole, let me say, DIY spirit. This was always something that you was still a part in your career, even when you got a record deal on a major label, because the major label contracts are like, we do everything for you and we also rip everything apart from you. But I saw, for instance, you were always the producer of a record. Usually record labels like, use this producer, and also it's a producer from the record label and they split their bill, etc. There are so many stories. So somehow in the end, there's the artist, or at least your band was always involved in something. And is it also something where you say you want to keep that somehow, this DIY spirit, like in merchandise, like in show production, by the band, by your own, or can you imagine to give specific aspects of the band to other people, like general label stuff? Or is it something for you where you say, one day we will do our own label?
I think a lot of it has to do with, just wanting to see the vision through. We've always been very collaborative with other people, but sometimes they just, after you work with them or start to work with them, they don't share the same vision. And you kind of see that pretty quick. So after a while, we were kind of like, well, we're not really getting anywhere. We might as well just learn these things and do more of them ourselves. And it just became, instilled in us to just go, all right, well, whatever, we'll just do it the best we can. And once that gets to a certain level, that's when you do have to reach out and say, well, I wonder what someone else's approach could be. So, in the past, we have used other producers and, tried to work with other people. It doesn't always work out. Everything seems to be just a little easier when we keep it in-house. There's 9 of us, there's 8 of us, there's 7 of us sometimes working on a single song. So sometimes, there's too many cooks, so to speak, in the kitchen, and it's just easier to just see the ideas through. But, with that said, there are a lot of aspects that we do, hope that other people can lend their qualities to and just their inspiration. Like, we always have someone else mix our albums, because by the time you're done recording and producing and arranging and putting everything together, sometimes you're just too close to it. So having someone else mix has always been a priority for us. Same thing with mastering, if possible, to have someone else's ears, another set of fresh ears on the project, to look at it as a whole instead of all the individual parts. So, it is important to work with other people, but sometimes you're better off doing it yourself.
What I really like is also that there's a still strong connection to Cleveland. For instance, when it comes to the last record, there were some melodies, not melodies is the right word, there were some singers from Cleveland, for instance, or for one of your, I think it was Righteous and Butterfly, you did the special limited vinyl pressing and sold it on Record Store Day, just also in Cleveland. And how important is for you, let me say, your surrounding and area to also to support small businesses?
Well, I mean, it's very important. We're still a very small business ourselves, and we grew up and started here, and we're still here. A lot of bands and a lot of people, once they get some sort of success or get some other opportunities, they pick up and move to, whether it's LA or New York or just wherever more opportunity is. And I guess part of it is just in our roots as far as where we're from, and it just it's not a terrible place. I mean, it's kind of one of the bigger murder capitals of the world, let's say, at least the United States. But there's a lot of dangerous places all over, and it's not really that bad. But it is important to us to know where we come from and to be proud of it. So there's definitely um, a lot of pride coming out of Cleveland, and one of the big ones is Steve Rockhorse mask is modeled after there's a bridge, and they're called bridge guardians. So they're statues on each side of the bridge from downtown Cleveland. So his mask is actually modeled after one of those bridge guardians in Cleveland. So another Easter egg for all the fans.
Nice one. I have to look at it actually. And I guess your first show before you start the European run is in a couple of days, right? In the US, I guess. Yes, of
Yeah,
course.
we're
On a
playing
festival or something.
we're playing the Incarceration Festival. I believe next Friday, and we've been fortunate enough to do that festival a couple years prior, and man, it is a great time. All those people that put that show on are just amazing. There's a ton of bands on it this year, too many to even to list. But yeah, if anyone's in the Cleveland area, it's only about an hour south of Cleveland, and it's going to be a hell of a time.
Nice. What I really like also when we talked a little bit earlier about the DIY stuff were also your DVDs, which you produced in the past and until now. You released 3 DVDs. What about a 4th DVD? Is it something we say we are working on, or is it like because of the technology and YouTube, it is obsolete to create a new DVD?
We've talked about it quite a bit, and it is kind of getting to that point of maybe it's obsolete, and kind of looking at other options as far as how to put it together. We had actually talked about trying to find a different platform to put all of them on, and a new one as well, so it's all one, so you could just kind of constantly watch it as a channel, so to speak. So there's a lot of talk about, a lot of ideas floating around about what to do with this new batch of videos.
What I really like is your hoodie because of the color red. And for instance, your first music video and the band shooting, you all covered with red suits, etc. Tell us a bit about the color of red. Why did you pick up this kind of color? What is the story behind that?
And that one, when we were listening to the song and trying to come up with some, basic video concepts, that song, like I had mentioned before, is very kind of straightforward metal. So we wanted a very straightforward, almost pop style video. Wanted to focus very much on the characters, the masks themselves, and just kind of fast paced songs. So we were discussing color palettes, and red is something we haven't really used before. And gives it gives the viewer a lot of different emotions, depending on who's looking at it. If someone could see it as passion and love, someone can see it as anger and hate. Red's a really powerful color. When you think of it in nature, it could be poisonous, but it could also be edible. There's a lot of different ways to look at red. People, it's exciting. It draws your attention. It screams stop all at the same time. So that was kind of the main reason to pick that color palette. Was it's striking, it gets your attention. Is it good? Is it bad? That type of thing.
And also fits to the title, Call the Devil, because at least everybody is connecting the color red to the devil.
Yeah,
I
they
guess
do.
also.
They do, don't they? I don't know why. It's like they think dinosaurs have this big roar, where they don't know what dinosaurs sounded like. So we don't know what color the devil is.
What I really like is that there are some people back on the record, for instance, your brother and also Jackie, because if I get it right, she was for a specific time not in the band. Now she's back in the band, and everybody is excited about it. In general, when it comes to your brother, was it hard to convince him to contribute, that he was contributing to the new record, or was it like natural, like, hey, come on, write a couple of songs with us?
Yeah, it was completely natural. As a matter of fact, like the first couple of times we hung out, we didn't even record. We were just at the studio and we ended up talking all night, just watching videos, like YouTube stuff, and checking out other bands and just listening to, cool sounds from, other projects. And we had it was, again, it was super natural. Like I said, the first song on the new record, Eye to Eye, was it came out of the first recording that he and I had in over 10 years. So it was 100% natural.
It's a crazy banger. I first listened to it and I was like, wow, it's a heavy groove, very like Pantera. The groove, just of course in a Mushroomhead style, but it was a real banger. And I think the second or third one is how do you say, the first video single? Sorry.
Okay, yeah. The Fall in Line, I believe, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Also
yeah.
very close to the beginning, so it's pretty straight. It's also a mixed record for the viewers out there. Some new and cool elements. What I really like about Mushroomhead is it's not always repeating. Of course, we have a specific style and elements there where I say, yeah, it's Mushroomhead, but there's also a different, let me say, a different record every time somehow. And how do you at least focus on that, or at least talking to the guys like, hey, I don't want to repeat ourselves every record again. Let's try this influence or that influence. Is also something that is happening naturally, or something like, yeah, you focus things more or less?
Well, a lot of it is natural for sure. And if something is too reminiscent of something that we've done in the past, we quickly kind of realize, hey, we've been here before, right? It's very similar. And after you're on, written 100 songs or whatever, you can kind of tell right away if it has too much of a vibe to where it's like, yeah, you've already kind of lived there before. Um, you know, an easy way to think of the way I approach things would be more of a movie director than a producer with a band. Like think of Quentin Tarantino. So when he puts out a film, you know kind of roughly what you're gonna get. You don't know who's in it. You don't know exactly the whole plot, but you understand where his world is coming from if you've ever watched any of his things in the past. So if you take that mindset and put it towards Mushroomhead and go, oh man, this is just Skinny producing another one of his, visions with the best cast and crew available, it becomes a little easier to accept as the way we change and the way we evolve as a band, because it's not, Metallica or the Beatles. It's very much a different element.
What I like is okay. Usually, I don't like it when there is a lot of lineup changes inside a band, but I don't know why and how that you guys pushed it to a different layer. Where I say, for instance, the last record and the new one is good as the old stuff, because sometimes bands losing their visions or losing, I don't know, the whole vibe of it, but somehow it is sticking very close to, yeah, like I said, the original Mushroomhead sounds, which started 24 years ago, which you can hear already now in those days. And what I found interesting is when it comes to your live appearance, I saw you the first time 2017, yeah, 7 years ago. You still played drums, but now you switched to water drums live. And if I get it right, you're playing not backstage, but behind the amps keys. Is it right that also your role somehow switched over the years
Yeah, just
when it comes to the live appearance?
yeah, on this last time around. So what happened was, Stitch had been with us forever, and he was, a keyboard and DJ sample guy, and he did water drums as well. So when he left, which was during COVID, I decided I would take that role and have my drum tech, Aiden Kerr, be the new drummer. So, and Aiden had been doing water drums on and off and, playing, here and there as far as, he knew all the material. So it was just the next logical step. So, once we started working on the new album, there's actually songs on the new album there where it's a conglomeration of Robbie, Aiden, and myself. So those guys were, contributed to the album a bit. And again, once Stitch left, it was just like, okay, I'm going to get out from behind the kid. It's been 30 years. I'm going to do something else for a minute and see how this feels. So again, here we are with the evolution of Mushroomhead, just happening naturally. It wasn't something I ever planned on doing, but it's just kind of here we are.
I did also a small research on the internet when it comes to your touring schedule. Before COVID, you were touring so heavily, like over 100 shows in a year. And let me say, after COVID, when things getting more normal, it is more, I don't want to say settled, but like, all right, there's just one regular tour in the US, let me say 20 dates, 30 dates, one or European run, and that's it. Is it something that also changed during COVID when it comes to priorities, or is it something like we prepare something for 2016?
Yeah, we definitely try to prepare a little bit more in advance now. And I will be honest with you that post-COVID, more and more bands are getting out there. There's more and more shows. So for some bands, that just means there's more competition or traffic out there. So unless you're really on the ball and knowing something that's going to happen a year ahead of time, it's hard to get on some of these festivals or shows or tours. So there's, like I said, there's more competition now than ever, just because everyone wants to go see shows again, and it's awesome. I'm really glad the world turned back on and we get to be part of it with the new album.
Yeah, for the viewers out there, your European tour starts in a couple of weeks. I put everything down in the description, so please come out, guys, because the show is always amazing with the water drums, songs, also live performance. Yeah, I don't know, I saw you, since 7 years you're coming to Europe, and every time I was there and digging a show, definitely. And could you maybe also imagine, like you mentioned also before, that a lot of bands coming on tour to do something like a co-headlining tour here in Europe? Because unfortunately, before 2017, 17 years or 20 years, you never toured actually here. Actually, when 13XX came out, something around that. To build an audience more, or maybe like, hey, we want to tour next year, but in June to take all the festivals, something like that. Is there something in the works, or is it something like you say, I don't know, we are more or less a headlining band, we want to stick to that?
No, we would absolutely love to get more opportunities there. We're trying to expand over to Europe even more so. We have a storage facility in Essen, Germany, with water
My
drums and a
hometown.
drum set and guitars and all that stuff. So we're building a B rig. So we plan on getting over there as much as possible.
It's interesting because I did an interview with the owner of that, and he was like, "Yeah, this is this band, that band, and this is Mushroomhead." I was like, "Holy shit! All right, they got the storage here. It's in my hometown actually."
Oh yeah,
And
right
of
on.
course, you played a couple,
Well
and
then,
you played.
we'll have to get together with you when we land, because we don't know anyone there. Every time we go there, we're like, oh, how do we order a pizza?
Yeah, no problem. Definitely, it's my hometown. I know the guys also from the company. I don't want to spoil the name now online because everybody knows where you get your storage, etc. But
Right.
yeah, Essen is my hometown,
Yeah.
and you played also a couple of times in Essen, and I know the venue owner and also the clubs down there. It's all family. It's
Yeah, awesome,
yeah.
awesome, cool. Yeah, we love the area. We were actually talking because those guys with the storage facility said they have another one opening in Berlin. So there's the option to possibly move our stuff over there. But either way, like I said, man, we're uh, we're staying, keeping our gear over there. We're putting more gear over there every year. We're trying to come back as much as possible, especially with the new album, man. We're really excited.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the album in general when it comes to the vision or sound structure. Which journey are you telling? Is it like each song is individual, it stands for itself, or is there some kind of, let me say, a mission statement?
No, it's all individual nightmares and dreams, escapes. Absolutely, they're all in and of themselves, and that's just part of I guess what ends up being the style because when we come in and we don't know what we're going to record, we kind of just go with what the vibe was. If you were excited that day, it may have an upbeat tempo and a more happier key. Or if you were, very in a dark place, then the song's going to be a little bit either grumpy or evil or just depressing. Like there's moments of all of that all over the record. And it just kind of shows that, not one style fits all. And the fact that we're just pouring out our true emotions, which are not the same ever, they may become similar. And that's, I guess, the similarities from album to album. That's where the similarities arise because there's all different emotions on every album, but you'll see the somber moments on every album. You'll see the super aggressive moments on every album, but none of it really is put together as like a whole concept or anything.
Mm. And how many times do you think about the song The Heresy? Because for me, it's like the perfect COVID song. When you can say this more or less, a lot of things went, my opinion, in the wrong direction. And the song came out also in 2020, and I was like, yes, it hits. How do you say the German word is Zeitgeist, and I think it's also the English word Zeitgeist for it.
Yeah.
And do you reflect also sometimes your songs and you were like, all right, we wrote this song many months or years before, but we put it out, it fits somehow. Do you do this sometimes to reflect the songs?
That one in particular shocked us as well. We were like, well, isn't that just fitting to this time? Like, you couldn't have wrote it better. And like you said, it was not even a year before when we wrote those lyrics and started putting that song together. The emotion, it's almost like, it's like we knew it was coming or something. But it's not always like that as far as just to have that main attitude to tell something and have it almost become true. Like it's kind of strange that actually happened, and it makes the song and the imagery of the video like even that much more haunting, because it's like, wait a minute, what happened there? That one kind of freaked us out.
Definitely, it's one of your best videos, also with the song and also the whole surrounded, which made it perfect back in the day.
Yeah.
And by the way, today you also released a new video single. I came straight from sports. I have to watch it. It's also out for the viewers out there. And my last question is because our time is running out.
Okay.
Do we have maybe a crazy mosh pit experience to share from your youth days, from the early Mushroomhead days, or something which happened, I don't know, during the last shows where you say that's completely crazy? For instance, there's a drone metal band called Sun, and they told me that after their show there was a full shit pants in the middle of the room, and usually drone metal band there's nothing happened during the set, and they said somebody was shitting in a pant and left the full pants in the room, something like that. You have to something to share, to say?
No, but I will say, anyone in the mosh pit, be careful and look out for the guys next to you. If someone falls down, help them back up. We're all out there to have a good time. I was in, oh boy, where were we? North Carolina. This was many years ago. This is back when I was still stage diving. There was a band on tour with us called Saint Diablo, and they had extra percussion. And I came out there one night with the mask on and did some extra percussion for their one big song, and I jumped into the crowd, right? And I'm crowd surfing, wonderful time. I got flipped on my head, man, hit my head so hard, my chin hit my chest, I got knocked out for a little bit, and no one like really realized that I was like out, you know what I mean? And they were all just kind of still moshing, and I mean, I got picked up and shit, but just again, look out for anyone in the pit, man. They're all your brothers, they're all your sisters, they're all out there to have a great time. So, you know, just make sure that everyone's safe and having a good time. And, you know, again, it's all part of it. So, you know, everyone falls, everyone gets hit, man. It's just part of the thing. Just love your brothers and sisters out there.
Skinny, thank you very much for the time, for the interview, also for your nice and kind words for the viewers out there. The new record is coming now in August. Please look down at the description. Also, please come to the shows. The European tour starts also in August on the release day, actually, in Bochum. You will play there. So yeah, please come, everybody. Again, thank you very much. See you next time. Skinny, thank you.
Thank you. Keep
Bye.
supporting metal, man. Take care.
Moshpit Passion, you know, for the passion of music.